What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Welcome back to another episode of the Don's Favorite here on FILA Sports Podcast. It's your boy, the Don. I'm here to talk about the upcoming AFC Championship Game against the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. Y'all already know how I do it. I bring on experts, expert podcasters, expert writers to come on the show and talk about their respective team. Brought back on Ron from KC. What's good, man?
Hey, what's good, Don? I appreciate you bringing me back on. I enjoyed the last preview, and hopefully this preview goes as good as the last one in terms of my team winning. So
Yeah, you think so? You saying you gonna be back on again?
exactly, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
All right, all right. Appreciate you. And then I got another guy from the Buffalo Fanatics. Let everybody know who you are.
Hello, I'm Zach Vaughn. I am a writer for thebuffalofanatics.com.
All right, appreciate you, Zach, for joining us, man. Like, hey, my prediction is coming to fruition. I've predicted that the Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl, and here you guys are in the AFC Championship game. But you got one more hurdle to go over. You gotta beat the defending champions, which is not going to be easy. And now, word came out that Pat Mahomes may end up playing this Sunday. So if not, we talked to Chad Henning. Chin is a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody say. And I'm not trying to be biased because he went to Michigan, because I'm a Michigan fan, but he is a good quarterback. But enough said. If y'all new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out of Atlanta Sports Fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. Now, this show is recorded today. However, it's not live because issues with YouTube. I apologize to you guys in advance. Look, if y'all have anything to talk about, any comments, just hit us up in the comment section on YouTube. It's will only be available on YouTube. All right? Hit us up on YouTube in the comment section. Tell us your thoughts on the game, predictions, all that. All right? And you guys know we will get back with your comments. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this upcoming game this Sunday. My computer can act with it right with me. So, first game, we're going to preview what happened last week. Browns versus the Chiefs recap. Chiefs won this game 22-17. Shouts out to the Cleveland Browns. They went down swinging. They literally went down swinging. They didn't, go to Arrowhead, just laid down for the Chiefs. They really wanted to win, and hey, they came up short. All right. Pat Mahomes, he went 21 for 30, threw for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions, but he also ran in a touchdown. Baker Mayfield went for 23-37, threw 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. My boy Chad Henne came into the game and went 6 for 8, threw 66 yards, and threw a pick. All right. Browns ran collectively over 100 yards with Hunt scoring a touchdown. So Hunt, he pretty much got his revenge TD. Darrell Williams, he ran for 78 yards, averaging 6 yards a carry. I don't know why they didn't run this damn more, but hey. And both Hill and Kelsey had over 100 yards receiving. With Kelsey caught a touchdown. Myles Garrett, he recorded a sack. Carl Joseph got a pick off Henny. Jerry Sneed got a sack, and Matthew got a pick. Going back to last week's game. Tell me the final points of what happened in that game. Why did you guys come out victorious? I know I just read the stats, but just give me more of an inside scoop of it.
Oh yeah, well I would say the 22-17 score doesn't reflect how well the Chiefs offense played at first when Mahomes was in the game. The Chiefs offense, I believe I saw something where in the first 20 plays we achieved 15 first downs. It was they were just doing whatever they wanted until they got in the red zone, and then they were settling for field goals a little too much. That's why that scoring number was a little down. But started off the game with 2 touchdown possessions. In the second half, after that Tyrann Mathieu pick, Chiefs already leading 19-3. A touchdown there goes up 26-3. Instead, we can't convert it. Then we missed the field goal, so then it's still 19-3. Missed another field goal, missed an extra point as well another time. So, yeah, I think the 22 points doesn't really reflect how well the Chiefs offense was humming when Mahomes was in there. If Mahomes never got hurt, I think they put up at least 30, if not, maybe even closer to 40, just the way that that game was going with Mahomes. So I do want to give props to the Browns, though. They could have laid down, like you said. A lot of stuff wasn't going their way, like the fumble touchdown into the end zone. Man, that's tough because they really needed that touchdown, and that rule's a little. There's debate with that rule, but for them to come back still and keep grinding and make it that close to the game and come down to the wire, props to the Browns for sure. But props to Chad Henne too, pulling out 3rd and 15, scrambling. And then the guts for Andy Reid to call that 4th down play to win the game with his backup quarterback is pretty gutsy. So all in all, I'm happy with the effort, and as long as Mahomes is back, I'm pretty confident moving forward with the offense.
All right. Hey, I think when Henry came, everybody thought, "Oh man, Cleveland coming back." I'm like, hold on now, y'all gonna have to put some respect on my boy Henry. All right. He's legit the last good quarterback Michigan has produced. We keep it on 100, and I'm not even lying. That's not even me being biased.
Yeah, I guess
all right.
so.
What'd you say, Ron?
I'm just saying, I'm trying to think of other Michigan quarterbacks that, since him, and I think you're right.
And that's it. I'm saying, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh
right.
man, I'm laughing, but I want to cry though. It's just you gotta just. Anyway, all right. So let's recap the Ravens and Bills game from last week. Bills won that game 17-3. Comedian HaHa Davis, and I love this tweet he put out. He said the Ravens literally flew all the way up to Buffalo just to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen went 23 for 37, threw for 206 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick. Lamar Jackson went 14 for 24, threw for 162 yards, no touchdown, 1 pick, and he threw a pick 6. Ravens rushing collectively over 150 yards. That right there is impressive. And they still lost, which to me I don't understand. Diggs had 106 receiving yards with a touchdown. London and McPhee both got sacks. Hughes, Addison, and Wallace got sacks. And Taron Johnson got a pick 6. Zach, go ahead and explain give your synopsis of the game last week against the Ravens.
Well, obviously, it was probably the most exciting night in Buffalo Bills' recent history. It's the most exciting night in my lifetime because we beat the Ravens. Yeah, Lamar Jackson. To go back to the running game, it was just everyone knew what Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were going to do on offense. They were going to run the ball. They didn't really have much in the way of a passing game. So, of course, the Bills' defensive game plan was to stop the run. What they did was stop the run. Lamar Jackson was held in check. I mean, they put up 150 total yards on the run game, but that was not what they needed. They needed more. And to go back to that joke, I mean, yes, they did fly up and kick a field goal, but they also kicked a couple others that doinked off uprights, which was also actually impressive because it was left doink, right doink, and then he made one. But anyway, getting back to the Bills, and then on offense, yeah, Allen didn't have the best of games. He didn't have the game that us Bills fans are used to this year. And some may say it was the wind, though I hear others are saying that maybe it wasn't more of the actual wind, but more of a psychological effect of the wind, where they thought the wind was worse than it was. And that may have influenced some of the decisions, like when Tyler Bass missed one of his field goals and it just went straight right. Like,
that's crazy. He don't miss.
Was expecting. Yeah,
and that's crazy. He don't miss. Yeah,
Bass-o-matic. But at least he did it in a game that didn't end up actually mattering that he missed 2 field goals. That's always a good thing. But obviously, hopefully he'll be right for this. But the defense, that was probably their best performance, I would say, the Bills' best defensive performance of the season. Not only did you hold Baltimore's offense, I should say, to 3 points, but Taron Johnson, man, he is quite the guy. I did actually a player profile of him after the Pittsburgh game when he had his other pick six, and he has quite the background. He's one of those guys. McDermott talks about his process, respect the process. He is that type of guy who's worked hard for everything, and just for it to accumulate not only in a pick six during the regular season to beat the Steelers, which was probably one of their better, uglier wins, but also in the playoffs. Like I said, the most defining play of this season, that 101-yard pick six. I know that a lot of Bills fans were like, when he caught it, they're like, what are you doing? Take a knee. But obviously, he knew better than us. So, and thank God he did.
Exactly. All right. So, let's look at y'all. Let's look at the last time you guys played each other. All right. And it was this season. All right. Chiefs won this game 26-17. Mahomes went 21 for 26 with 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. Josh Allen went 14 for 27 with 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Both teams rushed over 100 yards on the ground. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, however, he ran for 161 yards on the ground. And Kelsey in that game caught 2 TDs. So I brought this up because y'all played each other, and this is what you guys are going to expect again from one another. Run. Tell me now, y'all playing Josh Allen, but y'all playing a different type of Josh Allen who built more momentum as the season progressed. Tell me what you guys going to do.
Well, no, you're 100% right about that. It's funny, actually. I kind of divvied up these stats a little bit. The Bills are averaging 26 points per game in the first 6 weeks, and since then they've been averaging 34 points per game, which I guess doesn't include the postseason. But they've been on a tear since that game. They've only lost one game since the Chiefs lost, and it was on a Hail Mary to the Cardinals. I mean, that game, if that Hail Mary just drops to the ground, they're on I don't even know what the win streak would be. I think 12 game win streak.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's all Josh Allen. Josh Allen's playing exceptionally well. He just looks so comfortable. It's ridiculous how comfortable he looks. And no matter what he's doing, if he's just in the pocket or if he's scrambling around, he still looks calm, confident, and ready to find a player. And that's the other thing, how accurate he's been this year. I know it's a cliche storyline at this point, how many people talk about it, but just his improvement from year to year is just ridiculous. And so, yeah, I've been saying it. I've been saying it on Twitter. Actually, today I've been saying it that this is the best this is the best team because of their offense. I believe this is the best team the Chiefs have played in the playoffs since Mahomes was a starter, just because of how dangerous their offense is and how they definitely are the offense, in my opinion, out of all the teams the Chiefs have played in the postseason so far that could keep up with the Chiefs offense. So. And that starts with Josh Allen. So, yeah, I don't think he had the best game last time. I think the rain, it was kind of a rainy wind. It was a weird game weather-wise. And that affected the Chiefs, too. I mean, that's why they ran so much, I believe. I know the Bills' defense kind of allowed them to. They were playing back. But, yeah, it's supposed to be, decently cold in Arrowhead. It might be a little rainy this time. So that might help the Chiefs' defense. But, besides that, Josh Allen is going to have a good day no matter what. It's just about outscoring him.
All right. Now, for you, Zach, I mentioned that y'all gave up a lot of yards on the ground, and especially Edwards-Helaire, but he's not playing in this game. He could? Oh, wow.
He's practicing. Yeah, he's practicing.
Okay.
Still don't know for sure, though.
Okay. Now, you guys struggled a little bit last week with getting into the end zone. You got to score. To beat Kansas City, you have to score points. But, like I said, we gave everybody the tape to keep Kansas City under 20 points this season, all right, when we played KC in December. What are you guys going to do as far as trying to put up points? Because I feel like you guys have to try to replicate what y'all did against them the last time y'all played by running the ball. Dabble hasn't been good with running the ball this postseason. I don't know why. Can you just shine any light on that?
Yeah, well, Yeah, the run game has been a bit of an issue this whole season. I think it's maybe more of the fact that they switched to a spread offense. Last year they had a really good run offense, and they had like Quentin Spain at left guard, John Feliciano. They had their big maulers. This year we've had a bit of an issue. I think it was more because they converted to a spread offense and we're trying to do more of a zone rushing game scheme, and I guess their personnel might not have been built for that. The guards might not be the right guards for that type of system. And honestly, it's just in terms of the offense, I think it's at the point where and I know most Bills fans are saying just don't worry about running the ball. They just basically, this team is built exactly like the Chiefs. It's literally that meme of Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man when you talk about these two teams. They're basically the same. Statistically, they're very similar. What Mahomes can do, Allen can now do. You have Tyreek Hill. The Bills have Stephon Diggs and John Brown. We have Isaiah McKenzie. Actually, is probably more of a direct comparison to Tyreek Hill, even though they don't use him that much. But anyways, getting back to the original point about the run game, yeah, the Bills, I don't think it's much of a focus of their offense outside of if Josh Allen can scramble around and maybe find some space, he'll take off. If they do a couple read options, maybe, and for the most part, they just try to establish a run game at the end to try to run some clock. So, yeah, I don't think it's more of their more of like they need to figure out a run game. It's more of they need to just put themselves in a position where they can open up a run game by passing the ball, because they are a pass-heavy team. They're pass some more. That's what they do on offense. And to address a point about the defense, yeah, their defensive scheme in that last game was to literally pin their ears back, take away the deep threat, take away Tyreek Hill, which DaviousWhite did a really good job of, by the way, even though Travis Kelce did kind of like carve him up. But also because Tremaine Edmonds was injured, he was dealing with a shoulder injury, Milano was out. So that's going to be
I just
totally
don't have, y'all don't have a linebacker. Y'all, that's another thing. Y'all got to address a linebacker in the draft.
Well, Milano is actually a really good player. He's a good sideline to sideline guy. Tremaine Edmonds, he's an athletic beast. I think, obviously, he does sometimes seem slow to pick up stuff, but McDermott trusts him enough in the middle of the field. He's his Kuechly, where he has entire faith in his linebackers. And also, I need to give props to A.J. Klein for stepping it up in the second half of the year. He's went from being Bills Mafia's most hated player to being one of the best stories this year because he was able to figure things out. And actually is an underrated pass rusher, though we probably won't see much of him because Milano's back now.
All right. So let's talk about the news for this week. So we mentioned Mahomes went out with a concussion and a toe injury. It's been stated that he's practiced this week. Ron, will he be ready to suit up and play Sunday?
It sure seems like it. Even if you go back to Sunday, he gets hit. He's wobbling when he's trying to get up. It looks bad. But then a few minutes later, you see him sprinting to the locker room. I mean, if it was really that bad, would he be sprinting? I mean, it wasn't just a jog. He was running, because I think he was trying to get it all done and try to get back in the game. But obviously that didn't happen. But he's still in the concussion protocol technically. He's been limited in practice today and yesterday, but it's really seeming like he'll be good to go. Andy Reid saying he's taken the majority of the first team snaps in practice, even though he is limited. So yeah, I think Mahomes will be there. I don't think the lack of practice this week, even though he is practicing in a limited capacity, I don't think him missing anything is going to hurt him at all. He's a smart enough player. He's been in the offense long enough where he can go a week without a full practicing and be good for Sunday. So yeah, expect to see Mahomes Sunday for sure.
Okay. All right. Josh Allen said the Chiefs will be in a fourth quarter dogfight. So Bill's pretty much saying that they're gonna take this thing all four quarters, and the game is gonna be won in the fourth quarter because they're not giving up. Zach, explain this to everybody about Josh Allen's saying.
Well, I think it's more of the fact that, like I mentioned previously, they're both a very similar type of team, and we know that neither defense will be able to contain the other offense for that long. That it will be a shootout, and I do think it'll either come down to a field goal or a touchdown in the last minute. It'll probably end up being that because it's going to be a shootout between Mahomes and Allen. It's probably the one that everyone was expecting in the regular season.
Okay. All right. Now, we mentioned this before the show started. The Chiefs are playing in a third consecutive AFC Championship game. Now, we're used to seeing the Patriots, either the Patriots, the Steelers. Like, AFC has always been like, it's been Brady, Roethlisberger, and it was, Flacco here and there. But now you seeing the Chiefs as that standard in the AFC. They always now it's known that they always gonna make the AFC Championship game at least. Tell me, Ron, what does it mean you guys making 3 straight AFC Championship games? Because before 2018, like y'all haven't really made an AFC Championship game in a long time, and now y'all made 3. Huh?
Well, I was just gonna say you're right. It's since 1993.
Yeah.
From 2018. So
yeah, and I remember because Mark Schottenheimer was the head coach at that time.
Yeah, and guess who we played?
Buffalo.
Buffalo, and they kicked the butts.
Exactly.
I wasn't alive, obviously, for that game, but my dad always tells me of that he just remembers from that game. I guess it was close before half, and Chiefs were about to score, and I guess we threw it to our fullback in the flat, and it just bounced off his chest, and a Bills defender grabbed it and like took it the other way for 6 or close to 6, and then the game was kind of over at that point. But yeah, so we got some bad blood here now. Now that you're reminding me of that, we got some bad blood going. Chiefs, Bills, get some revenge. It means a lot as a Chiefs fan, especially as a young fan who didn't experience the '90s. I grew up. My favorite player growing up was Larry Johnson under Todd Haley, and that mess of a time with the Chiefs where we were 2-14 a couple seasons, and 7-9 was like our best year in a good stretch. But yeah, now I'm a little spoiled. Actually, it kind of feels weird. I'm not as nervous, I guess. Not for the game result, but just for the game in general. Like 2 years ago, man, I don't even know if I would have been able to talk the game because I would have just been so nervous thinking about it and all that. But now it just kind of feels routine, which I hate saying that because I don't want to take this for granted. But I'm being honest. I am a little spoiled, and that's what happens when you have a Mahomes. And I think the Bills are kind of starting to see, why they should be confident moving forward. Because if Allen's going to play like this, play like a Mahomes, we're going to be seeing them in this AFC Championship, moving forward. I mean, I think Allen, he does everything that makes Mahomes special. Mahomes has just done it for a longer time. I think if Allen can continue this level of play, for a 3-year period, then the only thing separating him from him and Mahomes now is, like I said, that longevity and just the Super Bowl and the MVP. So I really think Allen, if this is what he's going to play like for in the future, Bills fans better get used to being in the AFC Championship just like Chiefs fans have gotten used to it.
All right, and that brings my topic to Zach. Bill, this is the Bills' first AFC Championship game since '93. All right, been a long time. You guys finally made it. Y'all pretty much hushed all the naysayers. Tell me how right now, how Bills Mafia feeling right now. I know y'all pretty much like very anxious. I know the whole upstate part, western part of New York right now is all enthused about Sunday's game.
Oh yeah, well, obviously, yeah. Bills Mafia is very excited to see what happens. They're excited for this game because hopefully, like you said, hopefully it's the first of many. But yeah, so the way that I think Bills fans, a lot of them, especially after 20 years, the 20 years after the drought, like I grew up with the drought era Bills. So again, Kansas City fans and Bills fans are kind of in the same boat in that they had that long period of mediocrity shout out. I mean, I gotta say my favorite players were like Lee Evans, Stevie Johnson, Eric Moulds was right before my time, but some of those players where they kind of had success in Buffalo, but they never had a good team around. But as for the confidence in this game, as the season went on, I can tell for myself at the beginning of the season, it was like we had the first game, second game, then we're like, oh, okay, Allen is actually doing really well. But then there were those moments where you're like, us Bills fans are like, wait, when's the shoe gonna drop? That was 5 weeks or so. And then after the Hail Murray, even though, like you said, it was a fluke play, we almost won 12 in a row, that honestly might have been the best thing to happen to the Bills this season because they know they couldn't keep playing with fire in those close games and get away with it. So they had to learn how to seal deals, how to finish games strong. But I actually, about an hour ago or so on the local news, I live in Rochester. So in the local news, they were talking to Micah Hyde about how most of the players don't have this experience. And he said that's almost kind of a good thing because they know it's the AFC Championship game, but they may not necessarily know the gravity of the situation. So they may play a little looser than if they were, for example, the Chiefs coming into their third one being like, okay, this is to get to the Super Bowl again. We have expectations to keep up. But yeah, so Bills fans are just I think it's a mixture of excitement, anxiety, and confidence because we finally have a team that can actually go up against the best and, knock on wood, beat the best.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Like I said, it's I'm not trying to play favorites here, but it's timed. Y'all been through a lot. After going to 4 Super Bowls and losing all of them, then y'all bringing in Drew Bledsoe, and y'all notice that he was not the answer. And then y'all drafting J.P. Lossman. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
and then EJ Manuel and all those guys, now y'all finally have y'all a franchise quarterback that y'all can have, all y'all gotta do is just build around him. You have a great coaching staff. I've always liked Sean McDermott. He was here in the NFC South. He was the defense coordinator for the Panthers. And when he was here, he gave us hell because we could never beat him. We could never beat the Panthers when he was on the DC. As soon as he left, we was pounding on the Panthers. So, you guys, like I said, just look from one, I ain't gonna say lousy team to another, lousy franchise, but Bills fans just, soak it in because as a Falcons fan, we don't get opportunities, like that. And, so do you guys. Just soak it in. Just don't have your blood pressure up. Just relax on Sunday. Relax. That's what we had to do because 2016 when we went to the NFC Championship game and I promise you I was on edge. And when the game was on, you see Matt Ryan just balled out that game. And I was like, yes, we making the Super Bowl. Now Super Bowl is a different story. I didn't have my expectations high for the Super Bowl, which we lost. And yes, I was still mad because we had a lead. And I didn't expect us to have a lead, and then it just happened. But just enjoy the moment. And that's pretty much all I can say on that topic. Now let's go ahead and go to the injuries with the Chiefs. Y'all got Willie Gay out with the ankle injury. He did not participate. Sammy Watkins calf injury limited this week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he has an ankle injury. He was limited as well. Rashad Felton, foot injury limited. Rashad Breeland, a concussion, the shoulder injury, it was limited. Pat Mahomes, concussion and toe limited. With these injuries right here, would they play a huge factor in the game?
Yeah, no, they are going to play a factor because it's really important if playoff Sammy is back, Sammy Watkins. If you've watched the Chiefs at all in the past 2 postseasons, you know how important Sammy Watkins is to the offense. He's actually been the receiving leader in each of the last 2 postseasons, so he's actually been the number 1 guy in terms of production. And they didn't miss him too much against the Browns. They were able to kind of do their thing without him. I know they didn't put up a lot of points, but like I said earlier, they could have, I think, if they converted some field goals into touchdowns and Mahomes didn't get hurt. But I think this game they'll need Sammy because they'll need to score as many points as possible. And when you only have Travis and Tyreek to really truly worry about, I know we have some other receivers, but I think they don't have neither McCole Hardman, DeMarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle. None of them are as explosive or as dangerous when they're on the field as Sammy Watkins. You could probably get away with covering one of those guys besides Watkins, one of those guys with a lesser corner. But if you try to put a lesser corner on Sammy or just whoever guards Sammy that's not one of the better coverage defenders, Sammy's going to get you. He's really good, quick routes, intermediate routes. So that's where I think is the biggest deal. If he doesn't play, I think that's a huge advantage for the Bills and a huge disadvantage for the Chiefs. I also think it's important Clyde Edwards-Helaire plays. I know Darrell Williams looked really good last week, but he's still not as great of a pass catcher out of the backfield as Edwards-Helaire is. He just doesn't have the juice that Edwards-Helaire does in the open field, making a guy miss one-on-one. So that's it'd be nice to have Edwards-Helaire back too for the offense. The defensive injuries, I don't think anyone defensively besides Willie Gay is that important. That's on that injury report you read. So, yeah, I think it's just mainly Sammy and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let's for Chiefs fans, we hope that they're playing.
Okay. And for the Bills injury report, you had Vernon Butler out with a quad injury. He did not participate. Gabriel Davis, ankle injury, did not participate. Stephon Diggs, his oblique. He was limited. Jake Fromm, he ain't sitting in the field. Limited. Quentin Jefferson, ankle injury, limited practice. He was limited this week. Darryl Johnson, knee injury. He was fully participated this week. Tremaine Edwards, hamstring. He full participated this week. And then Tyler Bass, his hand. He fully participated this week. Any of these injuries play a role for the Bills this Sunday?
Well, I would say that first, good thing Tyler Bass doesn't need to kick with his hand because
exactly
that's like a moot point. Yeah, Jake Fromm's the designated survivor. He's basically been on the injury list the whole season, even though he's just been separated. But I would say the key guys on there, obviously Diggs with his oblique, but he was fine last week. I expect him to be good to go on Sunday. Gabriel Davis has to be the biggest key player on that list because he has been one heck of a contributor as the fourth wide receiver, a fourth-round pick, came in, picked up the playbook really early. He had actually a really good season as a rookie compared to even some of the greats in Bills history like Albert Dubanian going back to the 60s, Golden Wheels. Lee Evans was another one. I did a comparison piece with Gabriel Davis's rookie season a few weeks back. And because John Brown had his injuries, he stepped up. Gabriel Davis stepped up. He just adds that other dimension. He's a bigger body. He can make those athletic plays. It's like when Beasley was not open and if Diggs was covered and John Brown was out, then Gabriel Davis was the guy you go to. Obviously, John Brown's back, and he actually did play a big role last week. And on the defensive side, I would say the only injuries that Bills fans should be concerned about is probably Quentin Jefferson and Vernon Butler, because those two guys have actually been low-key solid contributors on that defensive line rotation. And McDermott always rotates the defensive line, so like last week when Darryl Johnson was out, they had Trent Murphy take his place, Trent Murphy, the Raven Killer, as we like to say, because the last couple of years he's actually done really well against them. But yeah, Quentin Jefferson has actually and Vernon Butler have been pretty good on the interior defensive line. So we hope to have at least one of those two guys back.
Okay. All right. And let's talk about I want to talk about Brian Dabble and Eric Bieniemy. So pretty much all of the coaching jobs right now, vacancies are pretty much filled, except for the Houston Texans, which right now it's a mess down there. Like Cap space right now looking crazy. You're not picking into the third round this year's draft. Deshaun Watson wants to leave, so I don't know. I don't know if the enemy or Dabble wants to go down there to Houston. They just have been a poorly, functional team in the front office. But I know I saw a report out today about Eric Bieniemy not getting a job. What's your thoughts on that, Ron?
Well, I think he is still in consideration for that Houston job, so we'll wait on that. Just because I do think Deshaun Watson, if the Texans want to cater to Deshaun Watson and make him feel a little better, you might want to hire the guy that he recommended, who is Bieniemy. So that's definitely still possible. But besides that, I am surprised that it's another. I thought this year was there's no way he goes another year without getting a head coaching gig.
Yeah.
But it looks like he might. And as a Chiefs fan, I'm not complaining. I think he's a great presence in this locker room, and he is an integral part of the offense, even if he isn't the one calling every play like we've talked about on here. But I do think he has an integral part of designing the offense. He is the main leader of the short yardage play designs, I guess. Maybe not the leader, but he's intricate in that part of it, the short yardage stuff. So. Yeah, I'm surprised he's not a head coach, or he's not a head coach yet. He might get the Houston job, like we said.
Yeah, I say we talked about this already on a few shows. I think he's good. He's a good coach. It just I don't think he fit what we need to do here in Atlanta. Atlanta right now, we've been struggling running the ball. So we got Art Smith, who's well known for being a balanced play caller, and who will run the ball, first. So I am shocked that he hasn't gotten a job yet, which is to me is hopefully Houston, because if they don't hire the enemy, Deshaun Watson, he's gonna find every way he can to get out of Houston.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the thing. I think Houston should hire Bieniemy if they know what they're doing. Keep Deshaun happy and kind of work from there. I'm sure that's one way to mend the relationship. It's just hard to see the relationship being mended if you hire a guy he doesn't like. I mean, they already hired the GM he didn't really want. So, I think it'd be smart if Houston took on Bieniemy. But as a Chiefs fan, I kind of feel sorry. I'd feel bad a little bit for Bieniemy because of how dysfunctional that organization looks. And like you said, the draft capital, they're not going to pick until the third round. They're stuck with a lot of these weird contracts. The guys they traded for that they probably should not have traded for, like Brandon Cooks and David Johnson. But hey, he has Deshaun Watson if he goes there, so you can't complain too much, right? I mean, Deshaun Watson's one of the few truly elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
If I was Eric Bieniemy, if I do go there, I'm about to put it in the clause and I'm gonna tell him, look, I gotta give me 5 years. You got to give me 5 years because here's the thing. You know how it is with minority coaches. They don't give them that much time, one. And then two, the situation he's going to be put in, like we said, he's not picking into the third round. So you're not going to really, you got to wait really to 2023 to actually make some noise. In 2024, really, to actually get your draft picks up to par and have them develop. It'll take this man at least 2 or 3 years to really get the Texas back right. You already see that the AFC South right now, like the Titans, the Colts, they pretty much the leaders in that division. And then you got Jacksonville right now, who has a better cap situation than the Texans. And then they got the first overall draft pick. So that's what to cover himself, he needs to say, hey, you need to give me X amount of time. If you fire me, you got to buy my contract.
Yeah, that's the problem, though, is just that with Deshaun, how he is right now, how old, I mean, he's not old yet, but if you take too long, then, you're going to waste his prime. I mean, and that's the problem with Houston right now. It's just they're kind of just in this mess because I agree. You want Bieniemy to, he's not going to be able to turn this thing around in 1 year. But it just stinks because by the time maybe he can turn it around, Deshaun's going to be in his upper 20s, which, that is kind of the prime as a quarterback. But just your athletic prime, you might waste his 25, 26, 27 years, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, no. But, hey, to turn this into a Bills thing, I am surprised Bevel's not going to get a job this year.
Yeah, definitely. That's the biggest thing is like all Bills fans basically assumed, hey, he's going to get a head coaching job. He probably goes to the Chargers. I think I don't know what was said inside that Chargers building, but I feel like that for Dable, that probably was the best place for him to go with the established relationship with the GM, having gone to high school together and that. But and hell, I even had an article already researched, ready to write up about potential replacements for him. But obviously, he said that he is no longer interested. He will not be taking a head coaching job this year. Good for Bills fans, good for Josh Allen, good for McDermott. And all I can say is that the rest of the league is missing out right now. But I will point the arrow to Leslie Frazier, who interviewed with Houston, whether or not this could very well be potentially one of his last chances to be a head coach if he wants it. He's already over 60. He's a defensive-minded coach. So everyone tries to go with the offensive guys, even though Robert Saleh was hired. And actually, I'm a little surprised at how many defensive or non-offensive coordinators have been hired in this cycle. But yeah, going back to that, it's a big positive. This is a big plus for the Bills that they're able to potentially keep both of their coordinators that actually were being considered for head coaching jobs. Just to be in that situation, it's another badge of honor. Something else for the Bills to say, hey, this 2020 season was a great success.
Yeah, like y'all pretty much made it through this coaching search alive because nobody poached y'all. And I think with the Chargers, I think they just want to go a new direction by hiring a defensive-minded coach because they've been having offensive-minded head coaches for a while ever since. You can go after they fired Schottenheimer. It's been offensive-minded coaches like Nova Turner, Mike,
Boy, yeah,
Mike McCoy, and all those guys. So they looking for defense, and then Staley ain't gotta, they ain't gotta pay for this man moving costs. He's right there, same stadium, same everything. Only thing you gotta do is just give him a different polo, give him a different hat. There you go.
Yeah.
So,
and I will say something about the Chargers too, in relation to Bieniemy. You'd think a team that plays the Chiefs twice a year would maybe consider hiring one of their coaches away from them. And I mean, who would know better to beat Reed than someone who's been an assistant under him for 7 seasons now? I'm surprised the Chargers didn't look harder at Bieniemy, but like you just said, they probably wanted more defensive minded, and Staley's one of the brightest defensive minds, young bright defensive minds. So. But I just thought it was surprising that Bieniemy wasn't more strongly considered for the Chargers job.
that kind of, that was crazy. Because Dabble was a leader for the Chargers, and all of a sudden they said Staley. I'm like, wow. And the Falcons, we didn't even interview. We interviewed Bieniemy, but we didn't even interview Dabble. And this guy, I did an interview on Dabble, and he followed me on Twitter after I did the interview. And I'm like, wow, it's just, hey, y'all, like I said, y'all made it through this coaching search. Look on the bright side. At least y'all not the 49ers and the Saints, because teams literally poach their teams, coaching staff. Like the 49ers, they lost their DC and their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And the Saints, they lost their tight ends coach and then their D-line coach. And then they losing Breeze as well. I think Breeze is going to be in a retirement as well. So,
yeah.
All right, let's get to the predictions for the game. Guys, we don't have a live chat like we said. So go ahead and hit in the comment section. Put your predictions for this AFC Championship game. All right? Let us know what your predictions, and we're going to get back with you guys with your predictions. We'll like it, or we'll say, hey, that sounds understandable, and we're going to say, hey, well, you might want to look back at the stats and look at the history between these two teams to see how you predict this game. All right. Go ahead, Ron. What's your prediction for this game?
Oh man, I hadn't put one down on paper yet, so I'm kind of distinguishing the last final score, the final score for me. It's going to be a high scoring game. There's no way it's not, unless something crazy happens or the weather is bad. But this is going to be a high scoring game. Both teams are going to bring out their best stuff. Andy always has his best stuff for the playoffs, and and Dable's a good enough coach to where, I'm sure he had some stuff kind of hiding ready for the most important game. So I do think this is going to be a really high scoring game. I think it's going to be a really fun game. It's going to be a great way to end the day on Sunday. So I will go Chiefs 37, Bills 34.
What about you? What about you, Zach?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a high-scoring game. Like Mahomes and Allen, we're finally going to see that shootout we should have seen in Week 6. I will say, obviously, I'm going to say the Bills will win because I think that this is just a year where the Bills have been checking off boxes. Win the AFC East? Check. Win a playoff game? Check. Win a home playoff game? Check. Win in the divisional round? Yes, that happened too. This team feels special. It feels like the 2017 Philly, like the 99 Rams. It just has that special feeling about it. So it feels like I will say the word destiny. It's almost like the Bills are destined to do it this year, to check off another box. So I'm going to say the Bills win. I will say 41-38.
Ooh,
I love it.
That's good. That's good. Well, I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game like that. And here's my prediction. I feel like I said, it's destined. And I feel like you guys, if you catch lightning in the ball, you better catch it. You're not catching it again because lightning don't strike twice in the same area. I say the Bills is going to win this game. And I'm going to say 33-24.
A 2-possession game? What?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, hey, as a Chiefs fan, I will say, I am fully prepared for our season to end on Sunday. It's crossed my mind. I am not going in being like, oh, we're going to the Super Bowl again. There's, run it back is for sure happening. No, this is a game, and I'm not the only Chiefs fan saying that. This is a game where, we need to play our best game or we're going to lose. And so I totally respect the Bills picks for sure. And hey, I'm just ready for a good game. So let's do it.
All right.
Definitely.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for coming on. One more time, Ron, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, Ron_Kopp, KOPP on Twitter. I write for ArrowheadPride.com. You can catch my 5 Things to Watch article. Should drop on Saturday. Just preview the game with 5 storylines I individualize out. So, yeah, check me out, ArrowheadPride.com.
All right, thank you for coming on. Zach, one more time, let everybody know where they can find you.
And you can find me on Twitter at zvaughn2712. I write articles for thebuffalofanatics.com. I also make some appearances on their pregame shows. Been doing it for the past few weeks throughout the playoffs, so I'm going to keep that going because it's been working. But yeah, so my articles usually come out like on Tuesdays or Wednesdays during early middle of the week. And I do a little bit of everything. I did player profiles during the year. I did some more humorous pieces, like I did a quarterback succession plan like after the Raiders game because of Allen's injury. And it happened to be timely because the Broncos had a situation later in the year. But I also have been, the last couple weeks I've been doing like tying up a little bit of the loose ends, like with end of season awards. I did a mid-season award piece, end season award piece, and my last article was what I deem to be the all-process team. So I identified and profiled a little bit of 6 of the unsung heroes of the Bills season, the role players that don't always get a lot of credit, sort of like the all-pros of the process.
Yeah.
But you can find that at thebuffalofanatics.com and check out all the other contributors they have there. We have some really great people.
Yeah. All right, thank you for coming on, man. Guys, you like the show, predictions and all that, make sure you guys hit us up in the comment section. Please do that. All right, that's the only way right now we can interact with you guys when we do our shows, okay? YouTube hopefully getting this thing fixed, so hopefully we'll be back live streaming soon. But in the meantime, we still gonna do shows. It's just be in a different format. Appreciate you. If you're watching this, appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share this content out with Atlanta Sports Fanatics. Hit that like button and please comment on this video. All right. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. It's your boy the Don with another episode of the Don's Favor. Hey, we got 8:30 tonight. We about to do a draft prospect show on Penny Sewell from Oregon. So make sure you guys watch that as well. So I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a great day. Have a great evening. Y'all stay safe.